photographer capturing the heart of sports in Illinois and in Indiana. He's here now for another episode of ciSports. It's Coach Pancho Moore himself joining us for ciSports. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me.
You started your own company, Coach Pancho Moore Sports Photography. How did you get started with that?
It was a long process, actually. I had been filming for Champaign Central because I was coaching there for the girls basketball team. And last year they had the alumni game, the Coleman Carradine alumni game. A friend of mine knows that I was in marketing heavy on the side, and he came up and was asking me about it. He was one of the videographers there. He was asking about helping him with his business, and I started doing that. And I was like, hey, I kind of like this, and I wanted to do it for myself. So I started going to a couple of the high school games, and then I was like, okay, this is cool, I want to do something more. And then I started going to the Illini games, and they have rules and regulations on what you can bring in as far as cameras, but you can have your phone, certain lenses connected to the camera. And I just started shooting from the stands. I would buy a ticket, and then I was like, I really want to do this. And at that point it became a passion, like full throttle. And yeah, we would just buy a ticket to each game for volleyball, soccer. We were at the soccer, Illini soccer, football, basketball. It didn't matter what sport we were there, just filming from the stands. And
so I feel like your love for sports is obvious to me. You've coached, it's in the name of the business, and you're just around it. Would you say that your love for sports led you to this industry, or would you say your love for photography is what carries the passion behind it?
It's a little of both.
Okay.
I had been in film for years before coaching, and I started coaching with my daughter, and it was such a passion that I sat down the camera for the entire almost 8 years that I was coaching, 8-9 years at Central. And as soon as she graduated and things transpired in life, and it was like, I picked up the camera and I was like, okay, I like this, and it felt comfortable. And then naturally I started doing sports, and it was like, this is fun. And it became a die-hard passion where I would finish coaching and we'd finish a practice, and I'm driving to Chicago to shoot like the G League Bulls or something like that, and then coming back. So it was still sports, but it was still a passion for photography and film. So it was just going hand in hand.
What's the average turnaround time for you as far as content production?
Depending on how busy I am.
Okay.
So as long as I don't have anything immediately that next day, it can get out almost within less than 24 hours. What I learned from working at the G League, with the G League, and then seeing how they interact and do at the U of I games, is you almost have a team of people. So as soon as they get a great shot, they're importing it into the computer. After that, somebody else is working on the editing. Well, it's just, you know, myself and my wife. So it's like, okay, get this into the computer, flip it around and edit it real fast and get it back out. Because for me, content is king. So the faster you can get out your content, the more views and likes and things of that nature. So it really helps business-wise. And then as far as sports photography, usually if I do a shoot, sometimes I try to shoot it where it looks, you know, pretty good right out of the camera, but I like to try to get that back within, I ask for 2 weeks, but it's usually 24 to 48 hours is when I'm kind of done with the editing. So
the eye for photography, I feel like, is hard to come across. It doesn't come natural, I don't think. Or maybe you can say, no, it does come natural. For you, where does your eye for photography come from?
Film.
Okay.
Just, I shoot photography as if I was telling a story. And for me, having a film background really helps in that. I've always, since a kid, just watched lots and lots of film. Like even now, every day I watch a film, and I'm studying the cinematography, the lighting, everything about it. So for me, I try to put that same passion into my photography, and I don't want it to look like anyone else's. So I want to meet with the person, find out about their life and who they are outside of the court or outside of the field, and just kind of tell their story in a photo. And it's like, it's always in the eyes. There's a story in the eyes. So for me, that's a huge piece. And that's just what I love.
In a photo, how do you know that you have accomplished that goal? Like, how do you know, like, okay, this edit is done?
Well, even before the edit, sometimes it's just that shot. I shot a gentleman yesterday, the quarterback for Champaign Centennial, and it went spectacular. Right out the gate, the first shot, it was like, this is going to be great. You know it's a special shoot, and I think Sonny Walker will be pretty pleased with the photos that came out of that shoot yesterday. But it's a thing where you can see it right away, and then once you start editing and get into the flow of things, like I said, the passion that they put into the photo kind of leads you to tell the story, and it guides you through the editing process, if that makes any sense.
It does. Okay. What has been your most favorite shoot?
Ooh, I've had a lot. I actually loved yesterday. So each one is like, it becomes a new experience for me. So I enjoyed previously, you know, using fire in my shots or something along those lines. But yesterday it was just an original, authentic piece, and he came in, he had a vision, and it just went well, and it just flowed. So outside of that, I can't really say for sure which one is my favorite because it's always changing.